So my plan for the day was very reluctantly to pull up anchor and head to Galveston today, which I would have been extremely joyful to have done that. Um, but I ran some errands, filled up my tank, made a deposit to the banks, to be sure to have enough to cover my upcoming bills, and did some rewiring in the Walmart parking lot just before I was set to leave. Had the coordinates all plugged in, heading for Boulevard Peninsula, taking the ferry across to Galveston Island. And of course, this is the 1 year anniversary of my great journey. So I'm like getting kind of bored of being in Lake Charles. Poker, I had a really rough week in poker. That's for another video. I'm ready to go. I've been here a little over a month. But, I'm rewiring the solar system to connect the battery to my truck electricity so I can charge the battery while I'm driving in case it's, I don't want to damage the battery by plugging in too many things and maybe the solar panel is not working. It doesn't seem to be putting in a great effort. Anyway, the wiring setup was running perfectly. The voltage coming off the truck was indeed enough to charge the battery. Turning the key essentially turns the power off and on, so I wouldn't have to worry about power being hooked up because there's an internal switch apparently. Anyway, so I started the engine at Walmart, connected the wires, drove over to the park, which is probably less than 2 miles away or around 2 miles, and was monitoring voltage levels. The voltage level I was interested in was when I switched the engine off. And predictably, the charging voltage dropped down to the nominal voltage of the little lawn and garden battery when I turned off the engine, and it's like, great. It seems to be working perfectly. I checked the battery level. The battery did indeed charge some on the drive over, so it was looking perfect. So I'm still monitoring the voltage levels to see what happens when I turn the engine on again. And I know that sound. That's the sound of the little spindle in the starting motor not connecting with the flywheel. So that's not good. Needless to say, the engine didn't start. I tried again. Same grinding sound. Not good. So I'm like, what? Thinking it through, did this somehow mess up my starting system? I doubt it, because this is a mechanical problem. It's not, there's some electric component to it, but it's it's more of a mechanical problem, I think, than an electrical problem. And I'm thinking this through. It must be coincidence. Maybe. So I'm like, okay, so I opted to let the engine cool down because heat and expansion and contraction might have a little something to do with it. Meanwhile, I'm like in panic mode, controlled panic mode for the next couple of hours until I try this again, thinking, okay, so this is not good. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna have to get a tow. Where am I gonna get towed to? Mechanic shop, or it's just a bad situation because I live in the van, and so how much money is this gonna cost me? Do I have enough buffer? I mean, this is just a bad situation. Supposing my car does start again, am I just gonna book it for Galveston? No, because I have to move every day, so I can't just go into a situation where I am literally forced to move every day. In Lake Charles, it's just great being here because my daily routine puts on about 5 miles per day. So in a month, I've only gone through like around $10 a week in gas. So that's an amazing. In Houston, I probably go through at least $5 a day in gas moving around in my routine. So being here actually saves money. So long story short, the vehicle did start, but I had to come back here because I'm safe parking here. If the motor doesn't start tomorrow, it's in a safe spot. I can just leave it. There's a car that's like got 3 flat tires and is up on a jack that's been sitting here since I got here a month ago, and it looks kind of familiar. It might have been sitting here since May, for all I know. Maybe since the hurricane. Over a year ago, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I was just getting all excited to get to Galveston again, and yeah, I gotta play it safe though. Give it a few more days and see if this engine is gonna start acting up, or if my new wiring setup really is doing the mischievous part in causing this problem. It doesn't make sense to me because there is a switch that switches the power off, but where is that switch? Is it immediate, or is it deeper in the system? Maybe that switch is the fact that it doesn't switch off at the base of the circuit. Maybe it meanders its way deeper into the system, and my having voltage on when the key is off, maybe it's indeed messing something up. So not sure. I did connect the wires again a little bit on my drive over again, but I'm absolutely sure to disconnect the wire when I before I turn the engine off. So I need to do a little experimentation with this. But I mean, otherwise, the system is perfect. It's keeping my little auxiliary battery charged. So that's very good, because this solar panel is just wacko. It's got some damage to it that I can't. It's a mystery to me, because to get voltage from the panel, I have to prop up the panel in a certain way. So it's not like the solder joints are causing the issue. It's more like inside the panel itself there's seems to be a break or something. It doesn't make sense, because to get it to work, I have to stretch it out, which says to me you're pulling a break apart further, whereas I think if you would flatten the panel, you would connect the break. But it's just irritating. I really wish I had brought a different solar panel down when I had access to it. Or maybe I'll have to just buy a new solar panel, because it's a useful system to have multiple options for charging, and a backup system for when the engine isn't running. And it's solar system. It's highly recommended, and very common, of course, with traveling van people, to have solar electricity. So anyway, long enough. I suppose I'll post this for tomorrow.